Welcome back to The Breakfast here on Plus TV Africa. As always, we kickstart the show by going through the major stories making headlines across the country. And this morning, we will be joined by Mr. Chris Nwandu, the publisher of CKN News. Good morning, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Hope you are keeping safe.
Yes, we are, as much as we possibly can. Let's get straight into stories from the Punch newspapers this morning and see what we can find over there. A lot of major headlines that are coming up on the Punch this morning. Of course, the first one is from the Southwest. That's the big story you can see over there. It says, headers registration begins. NGF, Mietiala back Akeredolu's order. It also says governor's order stays despite peace talks. Headsmen start leaving Ondo Forest. Governors Forum urges states to raise farmers' headsmen panels over clashes and killings. And Sheyi Makinde more concerned with political status than getting solutions, says the minister. Also, refineries shut for 15 straight months lose 152.08 billion naira. VC berates varsity COVID-19 herb critics, calls them ignorant. And also NDLEA plans drug tests on students and security operatives and workers. A few others on the Punch this morning. Rivers fingers detractors as Wike's presidential poster surfaces in Abuja. And an Ondo State serial rapist says, I've raped 50 women and robbed 100 houses. We also have on the Punch this morning, Disco disconnect ex-President Shagari's home over 6 million naira debt. Oh, okay. 53 doctors tested positive for COVID-19 in Kano recently, says the NMA. And the federal government to engage 30,000 graduates as extension workers. These are the big ones. Mr. Nwandu, I think we can just quickly pick on two so we can move on to the next paper this morning. So go ahead.
Yes, it will be the head drug assistant and the decision by the Southwest governors, and security agencies yesterday, where it has been agreed that there will be no open grazing across West. Good on news, but my concern is that this is not the first time we are hearing it. Months back, such agreement was also reached across boards across the country, and we still continue to see the herdsmen moving around, destroying crops, and acquiring land that did not belong to the rest of them. I hope they have a political will and the security apparatus to be able to maintain the order. The issue of the herds has become a very terrible issue across Nigeria now. That is now a war between Nigeria and Fulani heads or herdsmen, whichever way we call it. So I hope that the agreement is reached by the governors from the Southwest with Etiala and other stakeholders on this issue. We stay and it will be implemented later. And or else, because people have tried the devices of self-help, which is what the governor did and what is happening in the state. So I hope that all those involved will agree to this and make sure that this is well implemented.
Okay, we're going to go deeper into that.
Then we can look at, and also I'm looking.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Sorry?
Kindly go ahead.
Yes, and what to me, against other headlines, is the rapist that was arrested, that was raped about 50 women and robbed over 100. And I was wondering how it has been able to happen, that he has not been caught. 50 is what he has said, maybe more than that. And how come that people have not got to be able to give information to security agents to get this guy out? Now that he has been arrested, I hope that the full ways of the law will be visited on him, and it's not just be given a fine, or he should be locked away for the rest of his life, so as to send a very strong signals to others that are engaging in this kind of various activities. And that is for me for that. And
okay.
Few women, that is terrible. It's a serial rapist, for goodness sake, and doesn't need to live among human beings.
Okay.
All right.
Absolutely.
Let's now turn to the Nigerian Tribune. The story here is also free-range grazing must be stopped, and that's what Southwest governors and Miyetti Allah have agreed on. Soldiers, IPOB shootout in Olu, 10 feared dead. Imo governor imposes dusk to dawn curfew. Military political leaders on top of Southwest security matter. FG should deal with cattle herding issue as a national challenge, according to Northern Elders. This one says, Autumn's personal physician, ADC, others, test positive for COVID-19. Nigeria rely on oil. Nigeria too rely on oil for the next 30 years. And that's according to the NNPC GMD. Nigeria needs restructuring for social justice. Atiku's making that call, as well as former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Ondo acquits order targeted at those occupying forest reserves illegally. Now, this is the state verifying or clarifying their stance on the matter, saying it's to quit those who are occupying the forest reserves illegally. Night grazing, underage herding should be banned. Occupation of forest reserves illegally condemned. NDLEA proposes drug tests for varsity students, security agencies, government appointees. And for COVID-19 vaccines, Lagos targets 60% rollout. Engages Pfizer, other vaccine developers. Cacovid supplies FG with oxygen. National Assembly summons Health Minister over controversial 10 billion naira release for local vaccine production. And most Nigerians are not willing to take vaccines, according to Akabueze. As well as this one in Kogi State, saying Kogi bust kidnappers den, frees 28. Mr. Nwandu, we've talked a bit about this one in the Southwest, and we're going to delve into it in just a minute. But the other big story in the news is Imo State. We see that in Olu, soldiers and members of the Eastern Security Network, ESN, clashed, and they killed about 10 people at least. They burnt several houses, 13 buildings, and shops. I don't know what's happening here. What's your assessment, Mr. Chris Nwandu?
To me, what's happening in my state of Imo is a failure of leadership on the part of Southeast governors. And I put squarely on their feet and on their laps and on table because they have not been able to take proactive measures like has been taken. But like what is happening in the Southwest. The Southwest governors came up with a security agency known as Amoteco to be able to make sure that security, especially the Southwest, is taken care of to assist agencies to be able to tackle insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and the rest of it. But by good people of the East, where I come from, and governors just sit, look, and create some kind of vacuum. And it is that vacuum that IPOD is latching on and coming up with the own security outfit, which to me is totally unacceptable. But if the governors are able to do what they're supposed to do, and be able to do the part of the Southwest by coming up with their security agencies, which at one time they were talking about before the visit of the Inspector General of Police, the region, and I don't know what happened. I just went to sleep. We won't be having this problem we are having now. As of yesterday, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has declared a dusk-to-dawn curfew in about 10 to 11 local government states because of the mayhem. So I hope this will be a call for the government of this. We're also having such a problem in Ebonyi currently. In some part of Ebonyi, you have that level of insecurity and security issues, where the governors are people shoot at sight. So I hope they will be up and taken and put on their thinking caps. We elect leader. The essence of leadership is to secure life and property of its citizens. If you don't do that, then other issues, including economic government, will be swept under the carpet, and this is very, very bad.
All right, Mr. Nwandu, there's this other story here on the Nigerian Tribune I would like to bring to your attention. Jonathan, good luck Jonathan, mentioned this. Atiku's saying this as well. And there's been talks of restructuring for a while. But Atiku's, renewing his call, saying Nigeria needs restructuring for social justice. What are your thoughts on this call for restructuring and, statements from political analysts that Nigeria is basically practicing, as Liberal Soshama would put it, a big local government area where the president is the local government chairman. Do you agree with that and the call for restructuring?
Restructuring, I've been hearing of restructuring right from I was born. And I'm in my 50s and I'm still hearing that. So we are paying lip service to restructuring. Where we want to decide to have the political way to do it, it will not be possible. We have had several constitutional conferences, the one held under the former president, Goodluck Jonathan. The recommendation of that threat was not implemented. This very man said they were not part of it, and so we don't want to go that way. But it is very basic that everybody is talking about it now. Some part of this country were initially against it, especially the North. But some leaders of the North seem to have agreed now that there is need for us to restructure. But the problem is how do we restructure and what area do we restructure? That is the issue. And though we have the political will, when I say to we, the federal government, led by President Muhammad Buhari, if he doesn't believe in restructuring, he's not going to handle his regime because he's the one that is going to trigger. People have said that we have the National Assembly, that whatever issues we have can be sent to the National Assembly. But we know that the National Assembly is politicized, that it is very important to be able to handle the issue of restructuring. So I'm totally for it, but we also have to find out how to restructure. Because the way it is now, the country cannot move forward in any aspect because there's so much power concentrated in the center that the states are practically just going to Abuja every now and then to just cap in hand to arms, I will call it arms, and that is security, there should be structuring, the basic function that put us together needs to be discussed. And if people decide to go on their own, why not? It has happened in several countries and they haven't think for. So I totally agree with that there should be restructuring. But if you look at what happened at the Daily Trust this conference happened a few days ago, that was the largest view or how we're going to restructure. Goodluck Jonathan has his Professor Jega has his own, and so many other people have different opinions. I think we should be able to see if we can put it in place. I'm totally for restructuring, but we need to know what are going to structure and the things to restructure about.
Let's move over to the Daily Independent this morning. The Punch, has a lot of similar stories, so we're going to, skip that. Go to the Daily Independent, see what we can take over here. It says there, Akeredolu backs down, reaches consensus with Miyetti Allah. Monarchs and communities beg Igboho for support against headers. And also Miyetti Allah agrees to ban night and underage grazing. We also have Agbaje saying youths took action because they are frustrated and unsafe. Ethnic and religious clashes a symptom of non-restructured polity, says Atiku Abubakar. And stop reading ethnicity and religion to security issues, federal government warns. Delaying restructuring, boosting ethnic and religious hatred, says the DG of the PGF. And on COVID-19, Kakovid supplies federal government oxygen to stem high death rate. All right, some of them that we might just have a review on. I'm going to take us back to Imo State in a bit, but first of all, court orders NCS to evacuate El Zakzaki's wife to COVID-19 treatment center. Lagos targets 60% rollout, engages Pfizer and others, and that regards the COVID-19 vaccine. And then Imo governor imposes dusk to dawn curfew in 10 local government areas as 4 die in IPOB and army clash. So I'm going to bring us back. We probably would wrap up with this. I want your thoughts once again on what happened in Olu, because regardless of, however it is analyzed, some people have died. And, one thing that we would continuously say is that deaths should not be, just looked away as if they didn't happen or as if those lives don't matter. Every Nigerian life matters. And so investigations, I believe, must be carried out because the country should value every single Nigerian life. And so Do you think that there will be proper investigation into what happened in Olu yesterday? That's the first one. And then second, you made mention of the Eastern Security Network and the IPOB. Are they the same thing? I don't think that they are. The IPOB, I don't think has been seen as a makeshift Amotekun for the Southeast. They're totally different ideologies, totally different things. So, what do you think must be done in the Southeast so that we can have some clarity as to what happened yesterday in Olu and what the Southeast governors must do at a time like this to ensure that they protect their citizens regardless of how they feel about Nigeria?
Yours is a multifaceted level of questions. Let me see what I can do within 1 minute, as you said. First and foremost, you asked whether the perpetrators of the acts, been brought to book. I don't know about that. Have you brought those that perpetrated the NSAS shooting and the killings by NSAS? Have they been brought to book? Haven't you read that the man in Lagos is totally frustrated because all the writers, especially from the security agencies, the army and police, have not shown up? So that is a very vital issue to ponder about. Secondly, we talk about, I never that ECN or whatever you call it is the same with Amotekun. I said that the governors of the Southwest took the initiative to establish Amotekun, and that I expected the governors of Southeast to do same, come together and come up with the security agencies which are controlled. That it was the vacuum created by their inability to do that led to IPOD coming up with what we have now. We have always known problem with IPOD and security agencies in Nigeria. It happened in Aba, it happened in Umuahia, it happened in some parts of the Southeast during the period, and so many people are killed. So I think the Southeast governors should be able to rally now and try to stem the board before it's spilled over and into something more dangerous. And I think they should do something about it immediately. Then about the killing, we have become a country where life doesn't matter. You say life matter. Life doesn't matter in Nigeria. If they kill you in Nigeria, you just die nothing. And that is why I was talking about the issue of leadership. If we have leaders that value life and everything that concerns them, make sure that at any given time, life should be taken care of, life should be lost. And there should be some level of engagement in security with security agencies. You don't just come down and I'm sure you can see the videos make up. So many videos. How the soldiers just lie down and are shooting at people and the people are dying and the rest of them. But also the part of the news one is that some soldiers were also killed. So governor have done what you do to impose curfew within local government, as we said. But we should he should go beyond that and make sure that there will not be any recurrence. The governors of the Southeast, I'm repeating it for the next time, should do something about the security in that region and come out with a holistic arrangement that serve the purpose for which they were elected, and not just see themselves a lot of the flies that move around, feeling that nothing is happening. The level of insecurity across Nigeria is going down, and every region is care of people trying to see what they can do to.
Okay, so
because the South also be like they do that. And what if they don't do that? Then me who hide on the back of the tiger ultimately ends up in the story.
Thank you very much, Chris Nwandu. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your time this morning. We wish you a very interesting Tuesday ahead.
Thank you very much. Do have a nice day.
You too, sir. It's always going to be a very sensitive topic, with regards to Southeast. People, those videos from Olu yesterday were very, very terrible to see. And then there's also the angles that we may never get to, find out. But about what the Southeast governors need to do to ensure that they fully are representing their people, regardless of their stance. And like I said before, regardless of how they feel about Nigeria, the IPOB has continuously, of course, had its own narrative with regards to Nigeria. But it doesn't make them less of Nigerian citizens, and they should still have some representation, I believe. But the comparison between them and Amotekun and the fact that the governors need to have their own instant security network, I would agree with that. But I don't think that's what IPOB is, standing in for. They're not, standing in as some level of protection for the Southeast. They have their own ideologies and their own agitation, completely different. But they shouldn't be treated less than every other, Nigerian. And the army, once again, the Nigerian army, once again, should be made to be held responsible in every single way for the death of every single Nigerian that, that happens under their watch. From Zaria to, of course, if you can even go back to OD.
I think what's even terrible in this case is that
protest.
The soldiers here, they were alleged to have been sent to break up the ESN. But really, this topic is bigger than the time that we have to discuss it. So we have to go on a break here and return to talk about what happened today in history.